Hello, human listeners, and welcome to this review episode of The Wayward Dragons. I was like, what podcast do I do? What podcast have I been doing for over a year now?
It is funny. So I have started naming these specific episodes food.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah, the last one was macaroni and cheese book reviews.
Yeah, so if this is your first time joining us for this, this is our off-week episode where how we normally cover just different variety of topics and the occult and spooky and theological, theosophical, and all those other types of things in our regular episode. Here we kind of shoot the shit and talk about books we've been reading, shows, movies, games, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I am Johnny.
And I'm Kelsey.
And yes, I was unsure about that for a second.
I mean, sometimes I question.
Every time we get on here, I'm like, is that my name?
I had some dude at my first job before I quit call me Lindsay all the time.
Why?
And I'm like, I'm used to Chelsea. I'm used to the Chelsea because I've worked with Chelsea's, but I'm just like, Lindsay, where the hell does this come from? But yeah,
part of my issue is that I have a number of different like nicknames and all sorts of other stuff that different people call me. So sometimes I'm like, wait, who am I? And like one of my circles of friends, every single person in that friend group calls me Spike, except for one person who introduces me to other people as Johnny, and I'm like, dude, why? Like he refuses to call me Spike, which is what everyone else in that friend group calls me, and I'm like, all right, man, confuse people.
Yeah, for real.
So how are you? What have you been up to?
I have been decompressing from working 2 jobs for so long. So I've been taking the time to deep clean my house before I hyper focus on all the wedding stuff, because I know that's what my little spicy brain, my neuro spicy brain is going to do. Is as soon as I focus on the wedding, it's going to be all the wedding, because I still have a couple centerpieces to do, and we don't know if we're doing like assigned seating and stuff like that, just because of.
Well, and you'll focus on that until.
Oh yeah.
The day after, because you'll like the day after you'll be like, did everything go all right? Did everything run smoothly? Do I like how everything moved?
Yeah, like did everyone have a good time? Like, yeah, and it's just like, so I'm attempting to deep clean the house while I have time, and then kind of get everything, start prepping for the wedding of, okay, because there's still like hiking stuff that we need to purchase, like clothing wise, and I think we're good.
Like, you guys are going to Yellowstone, right?
Yes.
Be careful. Apparently, they've been having issues with some of the bison approaching people.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Part of me is like, this is great and this is exciting because nature's fighting back. Because like you got that, and you got the orcas that are sinking the yachts.
Yeah. Well, I let him pick. I let him kind of go, okay, we can either go to the redwoods out in like Northern California, or we can do Yellowstone. Like, what do you want to do? And he chose Yellowstone. So got a whole week to kind of shut the phones off, kind of unplug, because when you have 2 introverts that are the center of the tension that like him and I are about to be, and drama with families and all that for a wedding, it's just like him and I are going to need to decompress like bad.
I get
especially
it. Like
me.
I have days where I literally just lock myself away and like
Yeah.
try not to talk to people, and that doesn't always work well, but
No.
it's fine. It's whatever. But
Yeah. Well, and it's
you need that.
yeah. Well, and like also part of me is I'm excited for you to. I mean, you've met my dad, and my dad and my stepmom still think you're the coolest human being in my life. But I'm also
Yeah, I don't get
excited.
how.
I don't. I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, they they seriously think you're the coolest human being on the planet. But I'm excited for you to meet the couple of the other nerdy friends that I do have up here. Like,
Yeah.
and it's also one of those things of like, we have not been in the same room for a very long time, so it's just one of those like, I get to be in the same room as my best friend. Like, oh my god,
It's
like,
been a while.
like I'm like, I was saying that to one of the kids at now my main job. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I haven't been in the same room with my best friend for like a good chunk of time. Like,
Well,
it's
and that's the
always
thing.
like,
Is like you get older, and that just seems to, at least, I don't know. It seems like it happens. I know a lot of the friends that I have live in various places throughout
yeah,
the U.S. and some in other parts of the world, and so you always,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's everybody's so scattered, and it's like, what the heck? And I'm also excited for you and Myzak to meet. Like,
Yeah, because we've only chatted
yeah,
here.
yeah. So it's one of those things of like, I'm excited for like you to meet the rest of my family because, like I said, my dad and my stepmom think you're like super cool. But like for you to finally meet my husband and like my my best friend's like with me in the same place. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like, and we're not, and it's not for like a nerd stuff. Like,
yeah,
like it's not
yeah.
because we're doing nerd stuff, and it's like, I will say, like, so I had breakfast with my dad this morning, and he was at a grad party. I was actually already telling you about this, but
Mm.
the grad party was Skyrim themed, like the video game, and we got down a D&D hole because he was like asking all these questions about D&D, and I'm just like, Dad, Johnny's gonna be here in a month. Can we like save all these questions? like,
So speaking of D&D,
like can we save all these? Because like your expert's gonna be here in about a month. Like,
I would not consider myself an expert by any means.
like,
Uh, Fairly knowledgeable, yes. An expert by no
oh,
means.
I'm not.
But
You're
yeah, speaking of D&D, I've played a bit of the new Baldur's Gate game, Baldur's Gate 3,
yeah.
which, for those of you who don't know, that is a D&D property. And, whew, so, first off, this game will suck your life away.
Now, what?
Secondly,
I have one question before you continue. Is what?
yes.
How can we find the game?
So currently it is only a PC game.
Okay,
So you
continue.
can find it on Steam. Uh, I know that's a sad thing for a lot of our people out
Yeah,
there, but yeah, currently it's only on PC. I don't know if they're going to go to console or not. But first off, the customization that you have.
yeah,
They literally took 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, the
yeah.
base game for it, and turned it into a video game. So you can pick your race, you can specialize, all these different customization things as far as what you look like. You can
Yeah.
actually be non-binary as a
What?
gender option. And so you can be, when you're non-binary, you can choose whether you're more feminine, more masculine. You can choose your genitalia.
What?
And I mean, like you can literally, there is a safety feature at the beginning of the game when you start it up that if you want to have nudity in the game or not, and if you do, you literally can like take your character's clothes off and choose their genitalia from options. Both like you
That's
have
cool.
multiple penis options, multiple vulva options. you also have the option of whether you want your character to have breasts.
That's really cool to have that much customization.
You can
That's
also...
gonna blow a lot of people's minds.
Oh, it's people have been freaking out about it. You can also court certain NPCs in the game. And yes, you can hook up with certain NPCs in the game.
Okay.
You also... I want to see your face on this. So there is a part in the game where you can walk in on two people having sex. And I use the term people loosely. Because like a friend of mine was telling me about this, because they're just like, yeah, there's a sex scene you can walk in on and they attack you. And I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking it's like literally just humans, elves, dwarves, even maybe an orc or something. Oh, no. It is a female ogre on all fours and a bugbear taking her from behind. If you do not know what a bugbear is, it is a goblinoid creature. Basically, it's like a tall, furry goblin. And I was so freaking traumatized. I'm like, why? Why is this in here? Oh, it was so... So then I had to fight these two naked, like they were naked.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm just like, why? Why is this a thing? This is so painful.
That is fantastic. Scarring. Absolutely scarring. But absolutely fucking fantastic. That is hilarious.
I was able to make my favorite D&D character I've ever played in the game, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And it's I'll have to give you some pictures so you can take it and see it. But it's the game itself is great. It's literally, you say Skyrim, it is a blend of like Skyrim, Dragon Age, and well, literally any other type of game like that. But it's so great because you can steal so much stuff, and then just sell it all, and get like the cool thing is though is that the exchange rate on gold isn't like you can take it and rack up a crap ton of gold out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You actually have to work for it, and it's not super easy to get gold. Like you can't just farm gold. Yeah. My biggest complaint about the game is that you are capped at level 12, because in actual D&D you're capped at level 20, but apparently at this point in the release, and they may go back with enough feedback, go back and add in the ability to do more levels. They didn't want to like deal with all the spells and everything in it.
Gotcha.
But I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and there's a goblin encampment that they took over a temple, and I'm like, yeah, no, I just went in, guns blazing, and took out all the goblins, and he's just like, you're doing a full frontal assault on the goblin encampment that have taken over this temple and all this other crap. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And he goes, I'm going in sneakily and like going room by room and slowly taking people out. I'm like, the only thing I did sneakily is I snuck in through a side entrance. I destroyed all the drums.
There you go.
That way they couldn't call for backup.
Yeah.
And then I just went through and mutilated everyone. I'm like, when you go in and there's like 20 goblins and an ogre starting off, I just took out the ogre and then blew up half the goblins. I put like a random thing of gunpowder in the middle of it and used a flaming arrow and shot it at it. It took out half the goblins, if not more. And I'm just like, yep, fuck those guys. Because it's the way it's set up is they swarm you. Looking on OBS.
Okay. Yeah. That's funny.
Yes, so there's that. That's what I've done with games. I haven't really watched any movies.
We've been watching Suits.
Everyone's watching Suits.
I know! It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. We're like in season 4. We're like almost done with season 4. Because like the thing is it's 9 seasons, and season 7, Mike and Rachel Meghan Markle plays Rachel. They leave this season. So like the main love interest, but Mike, who is the fraud in this case, leaves. So it kind of like tanks. And they end it. The show like wraps up after season 9, but like the next couple of seasons, you can tell that like the writers were on fucking point. It's crazy.
I just think it's funny because like
everybody's watching.
And literally everyone, like one of the guys at work, he's like, man, I spent him and his partner spent all weekend, last weekend, I think it was, watching Suits. And I'm like, you didn't do anything else? He's like, no, we just watched Suits. And I'm like, what? I can understand if it's a good show, but apparently people think it's a good show.
Well, in like, for me, this is why I've always been into, minus watching like 2020 and like 60 Minutes as a kid, I love procedurals for this reason, because there's a slow like kind of undercurrent storyline that's throughout the whole season, and then you kind of have a couple that are kind of like over a couple episodes, but it's a new episode every single time. It's a new
Did you
new
ever
problem.
watch Lucifer?
I tried.
You didn't like it?
No.
I freaking loved it.
No. And like it there's a shit. Sorry, my cat has decided that she needs to like climb the window. Sorry, I got mildly distracted.
Neurodivergent much?
Well, okay, side quest. She's been like, she stretches like real big up against like the wall. And I normally like pick her up, carry her like baby for a minute. But she's been doing it up against the windows. Like, we've got some cat hammocks in some windows, and she'll stretch real big and stuff. Baby girl, I love you with all my heart, but you do not need to be behind my laptop right now. All right, we're gonna move some stuff around. But like with Suits, it's a new case every episode. There's a problem that runs on with like the whole season. Like right now, Lewis, there's a whole bunch of problems with Lewis. Like, he loses his job, and then he finds out that Mike's a fraud, and so now he's named his price, or he's gonna go like tell the board and all this shit. And it's a good show. It's
You've already lost me.
It's beautifully done, in my opinion. It's back when USA shows were like actually really good. Like with Suits was on with NCIS, and then the one con man show where there was a con man that worked with the FBI.
See, I thought this was a newer show. I didn't realize it had been on, or it was on that many seasons, because like people just randomly started talking about it. But I guess since they added it to Netflix, yeah. So have you been reading anything?
So since I'm now down to one job, I've been trying to physically read more versus audio. So I've picked up my Crew of Hunters series back up. My husband is currently making fun of me because I'm reading the large print. No, I'm reading the large print.
Because you're old.
Because I am old. But it's like it's massive.
Look, I'm on the other side of the country and I could read that from here.
Exactly. So the one I just finished was The Unspoken by Heather Graham. Baby girl, I love you, but you need to like not be doing this. No, you cannot lick my straw. Go on the floor to bother your dad. Sorry. So The Unspoken, it's book 7 in the series. So basically what kind of happens is, in the late 1890s, right before the 19th century, there, and this happens in real life, there's a rise in antiquities, specifically Egypt type stuff, because they find the tombs in real life, and all that stuff kind of actually happens in real life. And in the book, there's a boat headed for Chicago, and it's full of antiquities from Egypt, and there is a mummy on board, and it hooks into the one before. Like 6, 7, and 8 of this series are kind of connected. I forget the name of the fucking mummy, but it's some high rank sorcerer during Tutankhamun or King Tut or something. And the ship goes down in Chicago, and no one knows what happens to it. Fast forward to real life, search vessel, they're on the verge of finding it, they find it, and people start dying very mysteriously. And the spooky crew from the FBI comes in and figures it out that the secretary, I'm gonna spoil it, the dumb secretary isn't as dumb as you think. And,
well, I mean, typically when they have a dumb character, they're never as dumb as you think.
Yeah. I mean, she plays bimbo. She wrote it as a bimbo absolutely beautifully. Beautifully written bimbo. But she gets her boss to kind of help her out, and she kind of orchestrates the mummy, that the mummy is alive, and there's the curse of the mummy, and it's real and stuff. And they find out how exactly the ship went down. It got hit by an icebreaker, and the icebreaker that hit them actually had the death mask, had a copy of the death mask of the mummy that was on board, as like the front part of the ship is like the icebreaker part, I guess.
Well, that's convenient.
So, yeah. But she writes a lot about how spirituality was on the rise around that time, and the guy that hits the boat is trying to convince people about spirituality and like stuff like that. So that was interesting. I'm on the Uninvited right now. I'm about halfway through the Uninvited. And where the fuck does this take place? Landon Mansion. I forget where we're at for this. Historic town, though. Civil War era. But someone dies within the reenactment house. He's a reenactor. He skewers his head with his bayonet. Like, sets his chin down like the meaty part.
I mean, who doesn't do that? That sounds like a Tuesday.
So I'm currently reading that one. The next one I read was Positively Dead by Harper Lynn. So I found this series on Kindle, and it's one of those like cozy mysteries that I like to read when I'm kind of feeling like poop. And the main character, she could telepathically talk to all of the cats in her coven. Like all of them. She could, but she could, that's her like that's her power. Like all of the powers within like her sister and her family, because her whole her family's a coven, like type thing. And they own like this bakery, coffee shop within town. And in the book, in the first one, it burns down as part of like the story. But in the second one, people are being resurrected. And so there's zombies in town. Yeah, like part of like her sister's really good with herbs. Her aunt kind of has like foresight and stuff, but her power is that she can talk to animals like Dr. Dolittle, and specifically cats. So all the cats in their coven she can talk to. Like telepathic.
Is she also a lesbian?
No.
So I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Exactly. I know. But no. No, she's starting to fall for the one detective in town. So, and I'm eventually going to read the next one. But they're really hard to get through the library. So this is not cool. And then the next one I actually finished listening to was Dirt Creek by Haley Scavorn. This book was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Nice intentions. The characters were beautifully written. Horrible storyline. So, it takes place in Australia. So, the audio author, narrator person is Australian. It's a procedural. And a girl goes missing. A little girl goes missing. And the book is told through 4 different viewpoints. Her 2 best friends, the cop on the case, and then these weird, like, we chapters that kind of happen. And so you obviously go through the case. The girl's missing. Her best friends are trying to figure it out. And the one best friend comes to terms with him being gay and everything. So that kind of takes a weird part of it. You find out that the family friend hit the little girl on her way home, type thing. It was the slowest burn of a mystery novel I have ever read.
Gotcha.
Ever. Absolutely, like, super slow. Like, I've had to pick this book up like 3 or 4 times because it was just not going fast
That
enough.
bad?
Yeah. And all the descriptions, all the reviews on Goodreads was, this is the slowest burning mystery ever. And they're not wrong. Not wrong. And there's a
Did you
lot
figure
of...
out who it was?
It was,
You know who done it?
yeah, it's the best friend, the family friend hit. So there's a lot of talk about rape and drugs and stuff. And family friend was actually going to the little girl's mom to tell her, like, hey, I'm just letting you know that, like, I can't hold this in. Your husband raped me at a party, type thing. And she didn't believe her because she's like, my husband would never do that. What? And on her way back to her house, unbeknownst to her, while she's driving, she hits her daughter, and instantly kills her. And she kind of goes on autopilot, buries her out in the bush, and they eventually find her, thanks to a farmer being observant. But yeah, that was rough. That was rough. Yeah. So what about you? what have you read?
Well, so first off, I'm trying to knock out some classics. So I read the Jules Verne collection, which is the complete work of Jules Verne.
Okay.
So it includes 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Around the World in 80 Days, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Mysterious Island, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
While I appreciate these books for what they've done for literature,
Yeah.
they do not hold up.
No.
Like, and it's not just for the imagery. Like, I appreciate the imagery and like what people thought was functional in a fantastical way. But, and I know it's because of the times they were written in, but there is some terminology there that...
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There are several times that I'm just like, wait, what did they say?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
tried to listen to Dracula more than once. Can't get into
well,
it.
with exploratory books or things like that.
Yeah.
There's a certain word that they use, and I've read it in like older academic papers and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And it's, to give you guys a hint, it's an N word with a hard or it's an N word.
Yeah.
Starts with an N and ends with O.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's still uncomfortable. Like, I get that they called them that historically, but I'm uncomfortable reading that.
Yes. Well, like that one series I was reading, it's the Arrowwood series. The fact that they would call retarded people of any form Mongolian, I had to stop. I'm like, that's not okay.
Nope.
That's not okay. I don't care that that's what we don't use that word anymore. I can't do that now. I've more than once I've done that with books.
On a lighter note, I will have finished the book by the time this episode posts, but I've also been reading, and of course I'm not going to spoil the ending because I don't know the ending yet. I have a few theories, but Spontaneous by Aaron Starmer.
Okay.
This is a young adult standalone book. Yes, I was reading a standalone book.
Yeah.
So sue me. I know that doesn't happen very often.
No, that's my job.
So the story centers around a high school senior named Mara, who is pretty much the girl that I would have been fawning after in high school. You know, rebellious, smart, quirky, full of herself.
Okay.
She's just living her life, trying to get through her senior year, when suddenly, pop, one of her classmates spontaneously blows up. And when I say blows up, I don't mean like blows up into a ball of fire. I mean like blowing up a balloon until it pops. So like the guts and everything get all over people. So of course,
I am intrigued and disgusted all at once.
Oh, honestly, this book it's entertaining. So
I'm disgusted.
So
I'm super intrigued.
So she's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Of course, the feds step in, and at first they think it's a terrorist attack. And apparently they made a movie after this, so I have to see if I can find the movie. But they think it's kind of terrorist attack, and then realize it's not. But it doesn't stop with just one person. Other classmates start going pop.
Did they go to Willy Wonka?
No. And so the government steps in, they quarantine all these kids, do all these tests on them, can't figure out what the hell's going on. Mara thinks that maybe she's accidentally blowing up people with her mind because of feelings. But so far, none of her theories have checked out. Like I said, I can't really give any real spoilers because I didn't finish the book yet. But yeah, highly recommend. It's fun.
Let's see.
And I think the author is a male, but he actually decently depicts angst from a teenage girl. And there's no her boobs wiggled boobily. Or any of that weird shit.
I know exactly when it's a fucking male author. God damn.
But here's the thing though, is I've read female authors that have had scenes like that are just horribly written.
They are.
I think it's really... So I'm going to say this. I'm not a fan of smut. But typically when you have books, you'll occasionally have those scenes in the books.
Yes.
There are some authors who do a wonderful job like explaining those scenes or depicting those scenes. And there's some authors who should not pick up a pencil or pen again to jot down any book ideas because their sex scenes are so horribly written.
Yes. So, side note, the film came out in 2020. It's rated R. You can definitely find it on YouTube. Rotten Tomatoes score of 96.
Nice.
It's distributed by Paramount Pictures. But it comes up on YouTube first. So I know for sure it's there. Yeah, because one of the pictures is the main character is covered in blood in a bathroom.
Oh, this actress.
So yeah, I'll watch.
I wonder if it's on Paramount Plus.
On Google, it is showing Amazon Prime, Vudu, VUDU. I've never heard of that.
Voodoo.
Okay. Redbox, Google Play, and U of the Tube.
Okay.
It might be on Paramount for free. I would check. That's who distributes the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are no actors in it that I know of. Oh, Denise Overmeyer. She's been in a couple of shows.
Oh, the trailer looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it might be good. I don't know. But so speaking of smut, so I've weirdly taken it upon myself that because I am home now more, and I'll be able to like exercise and kind of physically read stuff, I'm going to get through all the books that Bookish Box sent me. And for those who don't know, Bookish Box is a subscription box that you get sent, and it's bookish kind of themed items, but the book is romance. I did not know this unbeknownst to me when I first did the book box, because originally you could get just the t-shirt.
Uh-huh.
And they eventually added a young adult and adult box, but you couldn't get just the adult t-shirt. I just want the t-shirt. I don't want anything else. Like, so I had to get the book. I had to get the whole box. So I've been trying to make my way through the books that they sent. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna kind of make it my exercise bike book. No.
How do you manage to read a book and pedal at the same time?
So one, you gotta get the angle just right. So I kind of have to sit fully straight, but I have to kind of lean lean back a little bit and pedal with my tiptoes, and it works.
Okay.
So the book I tried to read was Rule Breaker by Claire Therese. Basically, two people have been friends since high school. They were pen pals. One's a hockey player. One's a soccer player. Now, I want you to profess.
It's like one's a soccer player.
Soccer player.
I play socks.
I'm gonna stop right here and go. I did not even get 100 pages into this bitch. Okay, but I can tell you exactly how it played out.
You make me cringe.
Yep. Cringeworthy.
No, I'm just saying, not finishing the book. You make me cringe.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't do it. I tried. I normally try to give it at least a good 100 pages or a good couple hours for an audiobook before I finally like wave the white flag of surrender and go, I'm done. Mm-hmm. But basically they've been friends since kind of like middle school, and she is falling in love with him. Unbeknownst to her, he's already in love with her. And the whole book is them at first kind of fighting back and forth of like trying to like piss the other one off.
Why?
Why? Don't know. But eventually, by the end, they do end up together and they do end up getting married. But I do not know. And I condone my grandma, because my grandma read romance. I don't know how people can just read this. Like you were saying before, like if there's a scene in it, all right, fine. But if this is the whole, if this is it,
you know, my grandma read romance as well, and she read romance and mystery. You know, most of the women I've seen that read romance, that I've known personally, and had like conversations with them that you wouldn't normally have with family members. Yeah. That's not something I want to know about my grandma. Let's just say that.
Yeah. But like, how? Yeah. There's no like real storyline.
I mean, different folks enjoy different things.
And I'm super confused because like the Crew of Hunters series I read, there's sexy scenes. However, we're there to solve like a murder. Like there's some spooky shit going on and people are dying. Like what? Like there's a whole nother storyline. What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even finish it. I was like, what the hell? So, because I tried to read, because like when I put the next one on hold, I wait till I finish, put the next one on hold. Takes a couple of days to get the hold from the library type thing, So I'm like, I'm gonna read this in between. That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible.
I think that brings us to the conclusion of this episode.
Yes.
So in short, check out Video Game if you're able to.
Yes.
Don't read smut if you don't enjoy smut. And if you enjoy smut, you know what? Good for you. And you're probably also the type of person who watches porn for the plot.
Good point. Because I mean, it's the same thing in a way.
Different stimulus. I mean, some people are stimulated by what they see, some are by what they read.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review,
tell a friend.
All that fun stuff.
Yes. And if you have a book recommendation or a topic recommendation, you can email us at thewaywardragons@gmail.com.
If it's for me, preferably sci-fi, fantasy, urban fantasy, theology. If it's for Kelsey, just smut. Nothing but smut.
No. God.
Oops.
No.
Smut.
I will say that's all my book talk is, so I don't need any help there. Holy Jesus. That's a story for another day. But, yeah. Until next time.
I'm Kelsey.
I'm Johnny. Bye.
Bye.